In 1992, the Chicago Bulls won their second consecutive championship. The city celebrated to the tune of $10 million in damages and over 100 arrests. In 2015, this guy watched the Seahawks lose the Super Bowl and decided to buy a new TV. And me? Well, I watched the Jets and the Knicks, even when they both combined for a 21-77 record. 21-77. F*** me, right? Sometimes being a fan hurts, and sometimes it can cause people to do things that seem strange, stupid, or unreasonable. So why do fans of even the most disappointing teams keep coming back season after season?
You are a factory of sadness! I'll see you Sunday.
Why are we fans? Well, I decided to find out, but I needed help. So I made the trip from New York to Murray, Kentucky to speak with Daniel Wan, who has spent the last 25 years trying to answer that question as a professor of psychology at Murray State.
So for every game, half the teams are going to lose, and at the end of every season, basically every team loses. So why do we do this? Why do we do this every year? Why do we care every year?
I think that's the great mystery of sport fandom. If you bought a delivery pizza, say 10 times, and 5 times it came late, cold, and the wrong pizza, you would never go back. Sports fans are different. You can't stop. It's who you are.
So basically what you're saying is I'm doomed to feel this way forever, right?
Yes, as a Cubs fan, doomed is a good word.
Juan, along with a colleague, created the Sports Spectator Identification Scale. It's basically a series of questions that separates people as highly identified, moderately identified, and lowly identified fans. Or in other words, the lunatics, the fair weather fans, and the rational ones.
In the academic world of fandom, we like to clearly distinguish between being a sport fan and being an identified fan of a team. An identified fan, now you're talking about what that psychological connection with that team is. It's pretty easy to see ways in which sport fandom does meet certain basic human needs. One of those needs, one very powerful need, is the need to belong. We've done so much research in the last couple of decades showing the relationship between identification with a local team and well-being.
Right.
People that identify with a local sport team are social, psychologically healthier. By identifying with a local team, it gives you this sense of belonging, and that sense of belonging then in turn, lowers your sense of alienation, lowers your sense of loneliness. There's so much more to this issue than people going and watching a sporting event.
We all have a desire to belong, that much is obvious. But fans of successful teams have an added perk: acceptance of their own mortality. Seriously, fans of highly successful teams have an easier time dealing with the idea of their own death. Greedy bastards.
There's a theory out there, terror management theory, and basically what their research has found is that when people become aware of their own mortality, we seek out important groups to bond with. One of those groups for highly identified fans is their fan group. Fandom is pretty close to religion. It sort of justifies their existence as they're sort of coping with this anxiety that they're experiencing from their death salience.
If you attach yourself to a team so strongly that basically their achievements in one way to you become your own achievements?
Exactly.
Well, this must be why I fear death so much. Maybe I should start buying my little cousin Spurs or Warriors gear instead of all this Knicks crap. But fear is a good motivator, right?
I have a few little cousins, and one in particular said that she liked basketball. So I've begun every Christmas getting her Knicks gear. Am I going down the right path? Is she going to start beginning to identify with the Knicks when she's older?
There are no guarantees, but I'll tell you this. We know fandom begins very, very early. Work by Jeff James at Florida State indicates that most individuals link to a team by the time they're 7 or 8. So, are you guaranteeing her Knick fandom? No. Are you strongly encouraging it? Absolutely. The socialization process, particularly with fathers, but family in general, it's immeasurable.
So, much like being kidnapped, it's a family member that's most likely to be responsible for your fandom. That being said, I'd love to take a moment here to talk about myself some more, because you, the viewer, have become my therapist. I am a Jets fan because my older brother is a Jets fan. My brother is a Jets fan because when he was a kid, he was playing Madden with his friend who had already chosen the Giants. So in being faithful to New York, he picked the Jets. From that point on, he was a Jets fan, and once I was old enough, so was I. The sick part is that I know all of this, and I still care. A lot. F you, John Madden. F you.
The research is very clear that at least post-game, not necessarily post-championship drought, the negative response to losing is more intense than the positive response to winning. We say to ourselves, well, you know, it's not really that important to me. You say that after they lose. You don't say that after they win. That's what makes it a coping strategy. You need to embrace it and figure out better ways of coping through all of the years. Because let's be honest, no one copes quite like the fan of a bad sports team. We have perfected coping. Hope always springs eternal as well, right? So, you know, maybe you've had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decades of misery perhaps. That's okay. Next year is the year, and it is possible. That's why we always come back.
This is the year we turn it around. This is our year. Well, hopefully we all get a chance to be right, even if it's only once. Go Knicks.
I know what you're thinking. That dude looks so much better hand-drawn. I'm Mike Imhoff. I'm a director at SB Nation, and I wanted to find out why we all act so crazy. I hope I helped clarify it. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. I love you.